I'm Angi Krueger. I'm Licensing and Placement Supervisor here at St. A. So here at St. A, we decided to do an internal duffel bag drive to really try and get as many duffel bags and suitcases as possible so that when our case managers are moving kids from place to place, which we don't like to happen, but when it does, we want to be prepared. So we started doing that internal drive and then also got connected with Bags for the Kids, which did a community-wide drive as well. The outcomes were overwhelmingly positive. There was such a large community support for this movement. It's been really encouraging. So we've seen hundreds of duffel bags and luggage come into our agency, as well as over $1,000 in donations to purchase additional bags. So here at St. A, trauma-informed care is one of our kind of mainstays. We take a lot of pride in really trying to make sure that whenever we have kids entering the system, that we're treating them in the most trauma-sensitive way possible. Transitions are very difficult for kids. Any sort of move can be very challenging. And so by giving a child a duffel bag or a suitcase, it's saying, you have value and you have worth and you're important to us. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why it's so important and relates to trauma sensitivity. In Milwaukee County, as many as 100 kids every month are removed and placed in out-of-home care. Most of those are on an emergency, so over 50% of kids are moving. Most of the time it's because they're being removed from a parent or a relative home due to some form of abuse or neglect. Because they're an emergency situation, a lot of times case managers maybe don't have bags on hand in which they would necessarily be prepared to move kids with, and would be moving them with things like garbage bags, which is one of the things that we're really trying to avoid. So to have collected 500 bags means that there are 500 kids that now do not have their belongings transported in suitcases, which is huge. Since the day that we received the suitcases, case managers have been using them on a weekly basis. Whenever kids are moving from placement to placement and we don't have bags, case managers are taking them. Immediately upon receiving the bags, we've distributed them to all of our supervisory teams so that whenever case managers are moving kids, they have them very easily on hand. A really neat story that we had the first week that we received bags, a young boy was in the office and his belongings were in 5 different garbage bags. And we were still looking for placement for him and didn't even have a home kind of figured out for him yet. But while he was in the office, he was able to go and pick out his own suitcase and his own duffel bags and was able to move his belongings then when we found placement for him in a much more trauma-informed way. The one other thing I did want to share is that we have been able, because there was such a good turnout of duffel bags and suitcases from the drive, we have also been able to share them with other agencies in Milwaukee County. So our initial assessment teams are often the frontline workers who are going out to homes maybe after hours or on the weekends, and we were able to share some bags with them.
That's great.
We also were able to give duffel bags to our St. A residential program so that when kids are going home on visits with their parents, that they don't return home with their belongings and garbage bags. So it's been great to see the success of the drive resonate to the rest of the county as well. The other kind of plan that we have is to reach out to our stabilization centers, which are predominantly serve our teenagers. So that's also in the works for our bags and luggage as well.
Good.